Hey everyone! Today is May 1st, which marks the beginning of Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental health is the reason that I became a physician in the first place, so I felt impassioned to record a video and let you guys know what my mental health journey has been and the sorts of things that I consider to be essentials for my own mental health care. An integral part of my mental health journey involved going to therapy. I was lucky enough to go to a medical school that encouraged us as medical students to enter therapy and make sure that we could address any internal things within us that would have interfered with our ability to really be there for our patients in an unbiased manner. I had a much more personally driven experience with therapy much later, when I entered due to some problems within my romantic relationship and my inability to understand some of the emotional turmoil that I was constantly juggling. It was really important to have an unbiased ear and somebody that was well-versed in various mental health techniques that I could speak with and whom could give me strategies about what steps I could make towards my own self-improvement. It's really important to me that we all work towards destigmatizing therapy. You don't have to have anything wrong with you in order to go to therapy. You don't have to have an existing diagnosis. All that's really required for entering therapy is that you're interested in becoming a better person. The second thing that I think is really important in terms of maintaining mental health is getting your feelings out. For me, that is always about talking. I have found some of the most therapeutic times of my life to just be chatting with good friends about whatever it was that was burdening me at the time. And I find that just releasing sort of the internal pressure of the emotions that I'm feeling helps me feel better without there necessarily being any resolution. Whether it is verbal, whether it's journaling, whether it's through dancing or creating pieces of art, finding healthy outlets for your emotions, regardless of whether or not you found any solution, often makes people feel better. Thirdly, I think it's important that you educate yourself in some way about the condition or about the emotions that you're seeking to transform. I've read several books and listened to podcasts about how to improve myself and how to address the issues that I was confronting, and that has often helped me understand my problems in a bit of a different way. I feel like a lot of the times the difference between feeling stuck and feeling like you have something to do is just information. So the more you can educate yourself about whatever your struggle is, hearing someone else's story and learning a little bit more about the techniques that are available to you to overcoming that obstacle is really empowering, and I think an important step in obtaining and maintaining your mental health. The mental health techniques that I have found to be the most valuable to me personally are always centered around mindfulness. The team sports that I played in my youth and my exposure to martial arts was the first time that I understood that you need to get up and try again after you failed, and that you may not have the same capabilities on one day as you do as the next. And it's important that you just move forward and work with whatever level of performance you have available to you that day. I think it was the first time I was ever really exposed to the ideas of accepting who you are and just being in the moment. The idea of being in the moment and staying mindful was really cemented within me throughout my studying and teaching of yoga, and there's tons that I can say about that as a moving meditation. But essentially, it really helped cement my ability to breathe through, physical and mental discomfort, to sit with myself without judgment with how I was performing on the mat that day, and to really practice self-love and acceptance. Later in life and more recently, I've been involved with more of a seated mindfulness meditation, And again, I find that the ability to calm my mind, take a step back from my emotions and understand that they are not in charge and that they don't have to rule me was a really big breakthrough, I think, in my adulthood and in the way that I address difficult situations. Any practice of mindfulness, I think, ultimately can really help people that are struggling with mental health issues to move forward with a little bit more self-compassion and with a little bit more wisdom. Lastly, I think it's really important that you have a list of things that you know bring you joy. I think you need to have a list of supports that you can implement when you're having a bad day. And for me, that list is all over the place. I have supplements that I rely on for support when I need help feeling motivated, when I need to relieve anxiety, and when I need to lift my spirits. I have botanicals and nutrients that I call upon for that. I also know that I respond very strongly to music. So I have certain albums that I will put on, or if I'm feeling a little bit more adventurous, I'll look for new music to invigorate me and distract me a little bit from what I might be feeling. It often leaves me in a much better place. Sometimes I require a little bit more of a tactile or visceral form of relief. So that may be through taking a warm shower or bath. I might whip out some aromatherapy. I may do some yoga or exercise to help me exhaust some of the jitters or some of the emotions that I'm feeling. The important thing is that you know what works for you, and even if you have to write it down when you're having a bad day, know which things you can do for yourself that can help get you out of a rut. Again, it's not necessarily about solving the problem, but anything that you can do to help you get past the moment or help get past your stuck place is ultimately really good information to have about yourself and information that will ultimately make you stronger in maintaining your own mental health. So those are what I think to be the 5 pillars of my mental health journey and the things that are important to me to maintaining mental health. It was my involvement with therapy, my ability to talk and relying on ways of just releasing the emotions that I have inside, whether or not that brings about any resolution. I find it to be therapeutic. I find it important that you educate yourself in some way about whatever it is that you're trying to overcome. I think it is important to cultivate some form of mindfulness therapy or mindfulness practice so that you can steady yourself in rocky moments. And I think it's important that you know which things bring you joy so that you can implement those therapies and you can call upon them in times of trouble. Hopefully you found this information helpful. Feel free to send me a message or comment with anything that you'd like to know more about or things that you find to be integral to your mental health journey. Thank you.